Imagine walking outside at night and seeing not one moon in the sky, but three. One glowing bright white, another tinted red, and a third slowly rising over the horizon like a giant eye watching the planet below. Stay until the end of this video, because what would happen on a planet with three moons is far more dangerous, beautiful, and terrifying than most people realize. At first, the idea sounds like pure science fiction. We grow up with one moon, so having three feels impossible. But here's the shocking truth. A planet having three moons is actually completely possible. In fact, compared to what exists in the universe, 3 moons is nothing. Some planets have dozens. Right now, in our own solar system, Jupiter has more than 90 known moons. Saturn has over 140. Some are tiny chunks of rock, while others are massive worlds larger than planets themselves. So if you're wondering whether a planet could survive with 3 moons, the answer is yes. But the real question is this: what would life actually be like there? Because the moment you start imagining 3 moons in the sky, everything changes. The nights would never truly be dark. Depending on the size and distance of the moons, the planet could glow every evening in silver light. Imagine oceans reflecting 3 separate moons at once, while giant shadows move across the landscape. Ancient civilizations on that world would probably build myths around the moons. Maybe one moon symbolizes war, another peace, and another death. Entire religions could revolve around their movements. But things become strange very quickly. Our moon already controls Earth's tides. The moon's gravity literally pulls on Earth's oceans, creating the tides we experience every single day. Now imagine adding 2 more moons into that system. The oceans would become wildly unpredictable. Some coastlines could experience gigantic tidal waves regularly. Entire cities near the sea might need to be built differently just to survive. Certain regions of the planet might flood constantly while others remain stable. Life itself would evolve around these violent, changing waters. And here's the really fascinating part. Earth's moon does more than create tides. Scientists believe it also helps stabilize our planet's tilt. Without our moon, Earth's climate might shift dramatically over time. Seasons could become extreme. Weather patterns might spiral into chaos. So if a planet had 3 moons, those moons could either stabilize the world even more, or completely destabilize it. Imagine a planet where winters last for years, because the moons affect the planet's rotation. Imagine giant storms constantly forming, because gravitational forces pull on the atmosphere itself. A 3-moon planet could be one of the most beautiful places in the universe, or one of the deadliest. And the moons themselves might not even be friendly neighbors. Moons interact with each other through gravity. Every moon pulls on the others constantly. It becomes a giant balancing act happening in space every second. If the balance is disturbed, disaster can happen. Scientists believe moons can crash into each other. Think about how insane that is. Entire worlds colliding in space. Billions of years ago, something enormous likely smashed into early Earth, and the debris eventually formed our moon. So collisions between giant objects are not rare in cosmic history. They are one of the main reasons planets and moons even exist. Now, imagine standing on a planet with 3 moons and witnessing one of them slowly breaking apart in the sky. Because gravity is tearing it apart, night after night, cracks spread across its glowing surface, until eventually it explodes into millions of fragments. The sky would become a nightmare. Some scientists even believe the rings of Saturn may have formed from moons destroyed by gravity. Those beautiful rings might actually be the remains of dead worlds. Space is beautiful, but it is also unbelievably violent. And what's really interesting is that moons don't all form the same way. Some moons form alongside their planets. Others are captured objects that wandered too close and became trapped by gravity. One of the strangest examples is Triton, a moon of Neptune. Scientists believe Triton may have once been an independent object flying through space before Neptune captured it. That means a planet with 3 moons could have 3 completely different types of moons. One could be ancient, one could be captured from another star system. One might even be the shattered remains of another moon. And if intelligent life existed there, their understanding of the sky would be completely different from ours. Humans built calendars around one moon. Imagine trying to track 3 ancient astronomers on that world would probably become obsessed with predicting moon alignments and eclipses. Their architecture might line up with special lunar events. Their holidays could depend on rare moments when all 3 moons appear full together. Speaking of eclipses, this is where things become truly unbelievable. On Earth, solar eclipses are rare enough that people travel across countries just to witness them. On a three-moon planet, eclipses might happen constantly. One moon could block another. Sometimes all three moons might align in the sky together. Massive shadows could suddenly move across entire continents during the daytime. Imagine how terrifying that would feel before science existed. Entire civilizations might believe the gods were angry every time the sky darkened unexpectedly. And there's something even stranger. Multiple moons could actually make volcanic activity worse. Around Jupiter, moons constantly pull on each other through gravity. One moon in particular, Io, gets stretched so intensely by gravitational forces that its interior heats up dramatically. The result is horrifying and fascinating at the same time. Io is the most volcanically active place in the solar system. Its surface is covered in massive eruptions because gravity literally squeezes the moon from the inside. Now imagine a planet being constantly affected by three moons pulling at it from different directions. Earthquakes could become more common, volcanoes might erupt more frequently. The entire planet could become geologically unstable. So while three moons sound magical, they could also make life incredibly difficult. But despite all these dangers, life could absolutely exist there. In fact, some scientists think moons may actually help life develop. Earth's moon may have played a huge role in the evolution of life by stabilizing the planet and creating tidal environments where early chemistry thrived. So, if a planet had three stable moons, life there could potentially become even more diverse. And honestly, the creatures on that world might evolve in ways we can barely imagine. Think about predators hunting under constant moonlight. Think about plants responding differently depending on which moon is brightest. Think about animals navigating using 3 lunar cycles instead of 1. Even human psychology would change under skies like that. Imagine children growing up, never seeing a truly dark night. Imagine artists painting triple moonrises over glowing oceans. Imagine standing beneath a sky where 3 massive moons dominate the horizon at once. It would feel alien and beautiful beyond words. Now we have to talk about something incredibly important. Scientists are finding more and more planets outside our solar system, called exoplanets. Thousands have already been discovered. And while detecting moons around those planets is difficult, researchers believe many exoplanets probably have large moon systems. Which means somewhere out there right now, there could absolutely be an Earth-like planet with 3 moons. At this exact moment, alien oceans may be reflecting triple moonlight beneath an unfamiliar sky. And that thought is honestly incredible. But there's one final twist in this story. More moons do not always mean more stability. Sometimes they create chaos over very long periods of time. Gravity slowly changes orbits. Moons drift, systems evolve. A stable planet today might become unstable millions of years later. One moon could eventually spiral closer to the planet. Another might drift away forever. One could be thrown into space entirely after a gravitational interaction. Nothing in the universe stays perfectly balanced forever. Even our own moon is slowly moving away from Earth every single year. Very slowly, almost invisibly, the universe is always changing. Now imagine if Earth suddenly captured another moon. At first, it would appear as a strange, bright object in the sky, growing larger over time. Scientists would panic trying to calculate its orbit. News channels would talk about nothing else. People around the world would stare upward every night. Then the tides would start changing. Weather patterns might shift. Eclipses would become more common. The night sky humanity has known for thousands of years would suddenly become unfamiliar. Religions, calendars, myths, and culture would all transform almost overnight. And if the orbit were unstable, humanity would spend generations wondering if that moon might eventually collide with Earth or with our current moon. That's the terrifying thing about gravity. It creates order, but it can also destroy it. So yes, a planet can absolutely have 3 moons. In fact, compared to the giant moon systems already out there, 3 is relatively small. But those moons would shape every aspect of the planet. The oceans, the climate, the wildlife, the civilizations, the myths, even the psychology of the beings living there. 3 moons could create the most breathtaking skies imaginable. Or they could turn a world into a chaotic nightmare of floods, volcanoes, and destruction. And maybe somewhere in the universe, both versions already exist. Before we end, I want you to comment below and tell me this. Would you want to live on a planet with 3 moons, or would it completely terrify you? I honestly think the skies would look incredible, but the constant eclipses and giant tides would probably keep me awake at night. And if you enjoyed this journey into the mysteries of space, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another adventure into the universe.